New York session, 14 January 2025, market movement, uh, educational video. So first and foremost, what was the trend? The last 3 days, the day before this one was a bullish day. There is the closing, there is the opening price right there, and the market that closed bullishly. And then the last 2 days before, it was bearish, right? So if you were to say overall, you'd say the market was overall bearish, and then it was suggesting to turn bullishly on a Monday. So yeah, that is that is it. It's all sorted out. And now, what times showed the most liquidity? 9 p.m., 10 minutes before 9, 10 minutes before 11, 3:30. So let's go to them exactly. 3:30, there was a more than 100 pip move up. 3:30, also from this area from 20 minutes to 8 until for an hour until 10 minutes to 9, and then from 15 minutes to 9 until 15 minutes past 10, from 10 from 20 minutes to 11 until 11:15. And also today was a news day. On this specific day, it was PPIMOM. So it was a news day, and we do see that there was huge volatility during this news session. The market didn't even stop anyway, just went immediately. And the least liquidest times was here at 5 minutes past 11 until the close. A 16 pip total move. 16 pip total move. Is it 16? It's actually, yeah, just about near 30 pip move. Right. The fastest was the 3:30 during the New York session, which is 170, but closed 150 pips in like 5 minutes. So a total available was 178, but 145 pips were closed. And then the strongest, and then another strong move was this sell to the downside, which was 217 pips in yes in 1 hour, because the entry would have been there, but the move, the 200 pips happened in 20 minutes, right? So, and then also we see that at that time we spoke about 15 minutes to 11, there was also the biggest buying move, more than the news times. The biggest buying move of the day, consisting of 185 pips, but it took 55 minutes. So we've spoken about them. Also at 6 until after 6, there was there was a possibility of a small range, but this range is worth 65 pips. I remember it off the top of my head. It's a range that is 65 pips long, 69, okay, 70 pips. And then also just after the London close, just before the London close, there was a range that was like 57 pips in between its high and low. It was actually more than 57 pips. That number I spoke about, it was 8 pips between the high and the low of the range. And then from the opening price, we really won't count it because the candlesticks were less. And then at 20 minutes before 4 until 5 minutes to 6, the market was moving up and down aggressively. However, it was an all-time range. So to the prices that I know about, I want to express, and the prices I also don't know about, the new areas which the market has reacted profitably from. I want to know, um, um, how the price react to the significant price levels that I know of. How did it react in pips against the idea from an entry perspective? The total available to capitalize on, and how long it took for it to play out, and where it was stopping before continuing in the strong direction, and where it totally stopped, where it turned direction to the opposite side of the idea. So let's just discuss those things. First and foremost, we will start at this area right now. This area, it is 5 minutes before the news release, and after the news release, as far as it looks like here, it's not really a clear significant price, unless like we zoom out, it's not really a clear significant price come to even take yesterday's data. Let's see. So it's just about there. Yeah, it is out of session yesterday's low. Out of session yesterday's low, we saw that 179 pips move to the outside upside, and the 143 pips close, and the 179.75 pips to the upside. It took 5 minutes for this to happen. And what did price stop at? Price stopped just at the Tokyo close. Tokyo close and just below the high of the day. That's where price stopped. And for the next 2 hours, until it was 5 minutes, until 5 minutes to 6, the selling came from Tokyo's closing price, right? Tokyo's closing price, and it was New York's highest. So to continue, price gets there and it sells from this New York high. It sold from that New York high after the confirmation. Like I said, 8 pips. It sold past the opening price at the end of the day, stopping near the low of the day for New York, and also just about near yesterday's high of the day. Actually, we do start seeing rejection by yesterday's high of the session, and that time the market has moved 111 pips in 10 minutes, but after 15 minutes, it was 140 pips totally available to capitalize on, but the market ended up retracing at 5 p.m. It ended up retracing to the upside and past this opening price where there was rejections before, but past there, and then near the Tokyo closing price, by 18 pips, and near the high of the session prices by 5 pips, right? From that area, and the time right there is 20 past 5. From that area, which also out of session, before Tokyo session, that was the high. The high out of session price moved after a bearish confirmation. Price moved 282 pips, right? 282 pips. It first moved 9 pips against the idea, and it moved 200 and okay, let's not make it more than it is. 260 pips from entry to, and it took 2 hours and 15 minutes for that to happen, right? Where did it stop initially? It stopped at the low of the session, the low of the day. That was the first stop we saw. Move up against the idea, move up that contained let's see, 60 some pips. Yes, 68 pips to your upside in like 10 minutes, and then it moved um, uh, it moved 100 and something pips for sure. Like Jurgen Klopp says, for sure. It moved 130 pips before pausing again, and it's pausing here at this price where we'll have to like go back and check what it is, if it's a significant area. So it stopped at this price point right there, which in the last couple of days it's yeah. But we know something about this price. It was at 6, right? That's something to know. It was 6. It was at 6, pullback, and the market continued down, right? So so that we know what is a normal pullback. This total pullback was 77 pips. 77 pips in 30 minutes. Then yeah, we see that after that pullback was happened, the market did move another 70 pips in 55 minutes to the downside. And then that is done. That one is done. So here's another setup that occurred. Low of the day, market trades below low of the day at 6, and then back at 6:30 there is a touch, meaning prices bought towards the low of the day, and then after a confirmation, a setup was possible. A selling setup was possible, but price went first 26 pips up against the idea in the first 5 minutes, but totaled moved 92 pips in 1 hour available to capitalize on, stopping at the London closing price. And then, yeah, it couldn't move past that point, turned bullishly from there. So from the London closing price, right, we see another idea, and also the low of the day, we see another idea where price moved only 7 pips against the idea in the first 5 minutes before moving a total available 177 pips, stopping at the New York opening price, right? New York's opening price, that's where price stopped at. New York's opening price, that's where it stopped at. But along the way, it stopped here, along the way. That is possibly a significant area. Stopped here. The first high for New York trading alone, that's where it stopped. Then continued to it stopped and moved down for 39 pips totally from the high of the pullback to the low, and then continued in 25 minutes, you'd say, or less, and then continued to move up, stopping there at the recent or as well a recent low of the day, and then that was broken, and then continued high, right? High and high, and then it stopped totally at the New York opening price. So that New York opening price at 9 p.m. we see the market range. See the market range for 45 minutes, and against the idea 15 pips before traveling 222 pips to the downside in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, right? The high volatility came after 20 minutes before 10 o'clock, and then stopping where? Just at the low of the day, just near the low of the day, creating a new low. And then look, from the from again the London closing price, right, and the low of the day, we see a pullback right there, little fake out, but let's say entries were there. The idea was not traded against, so it was a clear move that was 157 pips to the upside until the market closed, and that move took a duration of 1 hour, and then to the close. And where did price stop? Stop just below the Tokyo low of the day, just below the Tokyo low of the day, just below the Tokyo low of the day. And yeah, so from the opening price for New York to the close, there was a total of 32 pips. That was achieved, but 131 pips to the upside and that much to the downside. But let's see, the highest possible selling that was available would be 334 pips, and have to wait 6 hours and 25 minutes possibly to get it. The highest amount of available buying would be 211 pips in 1 hour 25 minutes, or 208 pips in 1 hour and 15 minutes, and that seals it.